Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is 1,589 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. On Fort Bliss, y'all. It's getting very, very clear, and it was definitely foul play. It was definitely code red, military personnel involved. And it seems that more and more people are coming forward. And I hope that everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, amazing happy Thanksgiving. Um, I wish I could tell you that, it was just non eventful. Just eating turkey and pie and stuffing and cranberry sauce and, um, and toast, champagne, which, all of that happened. But it's always breaking news here in the Halliday house. Always breaking news, always more and more information. And especially, um, it's a result. The reason why we have so much breaking news, and let me make sure that I'm on. Oh, thank you. Anicia, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Um, Thank you so much. Nice, and I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving too. I heard you're having beautiful weather there. Um, so yes, thank you so much. And we had a good day, but it's not without more information coming in. And even on Thanksgiving, why do we have so much information coming in Richard's case? Well, because for 4 years we have, um, gone live every day, sometimes multiple times a day, except for Good Friday. And then also behind the scenes, filing. I'm not joking. I wish I had the exact number. Hundreds, maybe over 1,000, maybe even more. Maybe there's so many filings that we have done, and that includes criminal complaints, that includes FOIAs, that includes notices, that includes media, that includes reaching out to many different groups, that includes, I mean, just so much, right? State bar complaints, state bar complaints. And so when you see things like what happened yesterday, right during Thanksgiving, with Joe Spencer, who is absolutely dirty, he is so dirty, and he's calling for a contempt order on Bill Hicks to be arrested because of, and get this, it's just so wild, for violating the gag order when he himself has violated the gag order and Judge Sam Medrano has violated the gag order. Um, it's like the pot calling the kettle black, right? That's, they, it's so, why are they doing it? Well, maybe not 100%, but a large portion of it is because of our filings, our filings against Joe Spencer and his attempt for his team, because his team is pretty big. They've been collecting millions and millions of dollars, not just a million, millions and millions of dollars on this case, and um, it, it we have evidence. It looks very much like fraud, because why is Patrick Crucius getting state and federal funds, right? Millions and millions of dollars on a fraudulent application. Why was it approved? And so we, filed. We have filed so much that, of course, every day something is coming back, right? And more is coming back. And since the election, the failure of Veronica Escobar with the Harris campaign, don't forget she was co-chair for the Harris campaign. That's a really big deal when it comes to Richard's case, because um, Veronica Escobar was made the co-chair of Kamala. Well, she was for Biden too, right? She was for Biden and then to Kamala Harris's election campaign, over $1 billion. And it was just such a failure, wasn't it? And people are not too happy about that. But what that says is they put, um, a lot of money into almost triple the amount of money that the Trump campaign spent in order to capture the White House, to prevent this huge change of administration. Why? Because they get to control the investigations. They get to weaponize the Department of Justice. They get to weaponize the FBI. They get to cover up the weaponization of the Justice Department and the FBI, which is very clear that they have done in our son's case and in the Walmart mass shooting case, which are one and the same case. I shouldn't say one and the same. They're intertwined, right? They're intertwined like, weaving a map, weaving a mat, right? They're very, they're woven together, like a fine cloth. Uh, and, you have the same addresses, the same people. You have a connection in motives. You have, uh, you know, the people backing this up, their motives to in order to cover up the larger crime. We've had um, information coming in um, of informants absolutely exposing that they had meetings of high ranking individuals in order to hide and sanitize information in Richard's investigation, not just for Richard's whistleblowing activities, but larger crimes within, yeah, within the military. So, huge crimes going on, and more and more people are coming forward. And we have a very high ranking individual um, telling us that Major General Eisenhower illegally ordered the renovation of the arms room, and spare no cost, spare no cost. Don't do it by regulation, right? Don't do it by normal protocols or procedures. Don't do it by the regular bidding method. Spare no cost. Just get it totally gutted and renovated, which is the destruction of evidence, because, that is the, well, from what we know, the last location of Richard Halliday, right? The last known location of our son. And so more and more people are coming forward. We already filed a complaint about. We already filed that information. So as soon we try very quickly, as soon as information comes in, that we file it. And that's why we're getting more and more information. And more people are coming forward because they absolutely understand that this is a capital murder case. And that even those that just helped out, that just went along with the cover up, the subsequent cover up, that went along with the disappearance, that didn't do the actual murdering, but that went along with um, the knowledge of the disappearance, the murder, and the subsequent cover up are in deep trouble, are in very deep trouble. And all of the deleting of information, um, Richard's belongings that they didn't give us, right? They didn't give us. Um, the destruction of evidence. They've had a lot of destruction of evidence in this. And of course, the biggest evidence is our son's remains. And that's why it's so important to get his remains, because it is the biggest piece of evidence in all of this. And he was, according to the paperwork and all of our evidence, he was absolutely murdered on Fort Bliss. And did he stay on Fort Bliss? You know, partial, partial. Our evidence is that he was dismembered and he was then put in different locations. And, with this Borstar K9 hit on Fort Bliss in November of 2020, and we were in a meeting with the commander of Fort Bliss at the time, Sean Bernabe, who is, anyone surrounding him is likely to be an informant, right? Because they absolutely know that he lied to our face. He lied to our face. And I remember that meeting on the 8th of December of 2020. And I've said this over and over again. Why were they shaking? Why were they so visibly upset? They were so, a dark, evil, um, I don't want to call it a cloud, a fog, um, a dark poison um, of evil, right, was around them. And they were shaking and they were mad. Some of them were mad. And, even when we would call, like there would be a number on a piece of paper that we did get from Richard and we would call. I remember doing that to First Lieutenant Brown and calling him, and he's a West Pointer, and he was just rude, right? Just rude. Yes, and creepy, very creepy, a very creepy individual. And you're talking about a Gold Star mother, and talking to a West Pointer. And we've been around the military enough to know that that's not okay. They have to understand diplomacy. They have to understand charm school, right? Um, and yet they something very, very wrong was going on, and they were visibly upset about it, visibly annoyed, um, you know, and they all had an agenda that was not about defending the Constitution um, and taking care of their troops. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that right now. That was very, very clear to us. And so those were red flags at the time. And so now more and more people that know this, that experienced it, they're coming forward, and I wouldn't call them informants, unless they're with the CIA, unless they're with the DEA, which that could absolutely happen because the CIA and the DEA, yeah, they have a lot of questions to answer in Richard's case, a lot of questions to answer in Richard's case, and we'll be releasing that very, very soon, because Epic there, El Paso intelligence community has a lot of questions that they need to answer in Richard's case and the Walmart mass shooting case. And so we'll be releasing that information hopefully. Um, but all the things that we have filed, because we absolutely have filed with the CIA, with the DEA, um, with a whole list of names of those that we have evidence that played a well, let's just say they're suspects, from key suspects to suspects that were part of the subsequent cover up, and also those that were part of the disappearance. And we even have we did not add those that played a huge part in the retaliation, the preface, right? The preface, the retaliation um, that they absolutely leveled against Richard with, and then, the cover up is part of the smear campaign. But during the retaliation, it was also a smear campaign. They absolutely tried to discredit him, um, and intimidate him and threaten him. And so more and more people are coming forward, more and more information is coming forward that uh, this absolutely is hard evidence of what happened. And the tampering of Richard's file, that is also being addressed. More and more information is coming out um, of CCTV footage, Richard being caught on camera with individuals, and that being uh, erased, deleted, or hidden, or is a secret, or whatever. So his belongings, hard evidence being tampered with, more and more informants. I shouldn't call them informants. More and more individuals. I shouldn't call them informants because then everybody thinks they're with the FBI, the CID, the DEA, the CIA, right? And then, they think that they're like with them, that they had been, part of them. And then, they were, I guess, uh, given duties or given assignments to do these things, and then they realize, okay, maybe my skin's on the line. So I don't want to give anyone the false impression that these informants, um it really, I just should say individuals, more and more individuals are coming forward, more and more high ranking individuals are coming forward. The allegations um, against Eisenhower, Major General Eisenhower, about renovation at and whatever expense to destroy, really, it really is destroying forensics evidence. Um, that is on audio tape. That's on audio tape. So that is, they can't get around that one. And we've been, right from the very beginning, a part of Team Find Richard Halliday, very close, said, record everything, write everything down, record everything, right from the beginning. And we were like, really? What? What? Record everything, record everything. And praise be to God. And we're very thankful today that we listened. And we have been absolutely, well, Rob is very good at writing journals every day. And of course, we started this live stream every day, which absolutely helps with, documenting everything every day. And so, so we've done more and more, and that's helped put everything together. And there are different ways of putting together timelines. And when you put together the timeline and information, you would not, you would be really surprised. You would be amazed. And then you understand why investigators have their boards, right? They have their storyboards, they have their timeline boards and everything, because it really does help you see things that you normally wouldn't see. So, with more and more information coming out, we're very grateful. Even if it's on Thanksgiving, um, then we're very, very thankful. And we had a wonderful Thanksgiving, um, and more information is coming out. Breaking information is coming out. And I think it's because, number one, all of our filings, it's starting to, even with all the trying to delete reports and not answering reports, or, um, shadow banning or whatever. I think, or the tampering with files and stuff, there's really been a battle with the institutional support, those that are absolutely coming out for Richard Halliday, for Vanessa Guillen, for Enrique Roman Martinez, for Austin Hawk, for Asia Graham, for Elders Fernandez. Um, uh, you know, for all of these service members that, especially during that time period, that no way should they have lost their lives, for Glennon Oakley Jr. And so individuals are coming forward because they see what the weaponization of the institutions have done. And so you have those that are inside that are up to no good, but then you have those that are on the inside that are absolutely giving us their full support. And that's why more and more are coming forward, because they know what happened. And also with the election gives them, um, a little more confidence, because more and more of the institution is going to be for the defense of the Constitution, for meeting the obligations to care for our service members. And that is, gives them more confidence that they won't be targets of the weaponization of the DoD or the Department of Justice or the FBI, like Richard was, like many of these. That's why I think Vanessa Guillen's mother, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, so I really shouldn't say anything. Um, and I'll let her speak for herself. But I just don't think that that is a case that we should forget. I don't think it's a case that we should forget at all. And it was very, very close to Richard, and yeah, it's a case we shouldn't forget. And these cases that happened, um, that were not combat cases, um, they should, combat deaths. Um, they should not be forgotten. They need to be all looked at together to find those common denominators, so that the DoD can meet their obligations to care for our soldiers at absolutely the best that they can, which they have not, and so that's why we're getting more and more individuals coming forward, because they know that, and then the public knows it, and that's why we haven't we have such low recruitment, and there's a real problem, and we're facing some uh, some real risk, national security risks, um, and we cannot afford to have our soldiers be targeted within the military by the military. Um, you know, we I mean, that's just suicidal, right? That's just suicidal of our country. So we think absolutely. I gave little cards. My grandkids, they're just amazing. Um, First and foremost, just God's hand has been all over this case, all over this case, and His Spirit is moving amongst um, those that know the details. And the more and more witnesses that we have that come forward, the better, the better. And the sooner that we can get Richard's remains. And they're going to hold on to those remains for as long as they can, because the remains are gruesome evidence. Are gruesome evidence. And don't forget, their goal was not to have another Guillen incident, meaning finding her remains. They absolutely did that was the most sophisticated grave. They did everything they possibly could, they thought, so that her remains would never be found and it would always be a mystery. But they were found. And so with Richard's remains, they really did their best to never, ever have his remains. Um, I, it's not that easy to get rid of remains. And so we have information that they have his remains. And that's why I believe on the 8th of December of 2020, they were not happy. They were not happy. Matter of fact, I hope they have nightmares about what they've done. And you know, it is, I don't wish bad on people, because I feel like if anything bad happens to somebody, it always domino effects everywhere else. We should hope the best for everybody. Um, because if good things are happening to people all around us, then, that's going to domino effect. I just feel like then we'll all benefit. But this is absolutely criminal, y'all. Evil, criminal. And in this case, it deserves, I believe, the death penalty. And with this more and more information coming out, I'm just grateful to God that this is happening in Texas, where the death penalty is available, because I believe that it is absolutely worthy of the death penalty. And it's a very, very heavy weight um, to carry this level of crime when you know it and you're trying to, yeah, um, get accountability. But and I hate, I really hate to come on the night of Thanksgiving and talk like this, but more and more people are coming forward, and people need to know that the time is short. The time is short. And what more and more people coming forward means is a real shift in the institutional support, the magnitude of the institutional support. I think that's what that shows. And can't move quick enough. I'm counting days until Christmas, and I'm counting days until the 20th of January. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. I know it's very, very late. Um, but, this is a message to Leilani Hart. This is a message to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and their families. And their families. And, you know, they they're illegal. They took advantage of the system with fraud and for benefits, right? For benefits. And then they are absolutely criminal. So thank you, everyone, for coming on. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. And have a blessed Black Friday. Black Friday. Talk to you later.